Your city, your station, your Lakers.
And the Lakers go into Orlando and win this one.
710 ESPN. This is Lakers Talk with Alan Sliwa.
We got the moves.
We've heard Anthony Davis say this, and I think this is so important. It doesn't really matter as long as they keep getting their reps in come playoff time. That's kind of what these games are.
Yeah.
Lakers Talk is on.
The purple and gold as they make the playoff push.
We got the moves.
AD step back, two-pointer good.
You know, it's always, tough to win in this league, but we're going to use these last, I think we have 11 games left now to continue to try to figure that chemistry out and do it while we're getting wins as well.
Now, from the home of the 17-time world champs in downtown LA.
And LA back on the winning track.
It's time for Lakers Talk.
Here's Alan Sliwa.
Dribble left, dribble right, ain't nobody in my vision. Balling on the court, I be flexing, I be killing. Running back and forth, play the game, it's religion. Think you catching up to.
What is going on, Laker fans? What is going on? Appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Doing a little Lakers talk tonight. All right, just finished on 710 ESPN. We did a couple hours there. 7 to 9 p.m. on 710 ESPN. So, by the way, if you miss any part of that show, ESPN app or on iTunes, you could download the entire show. Lakers talk with Alan Sliwa, and then we'll do some Lakers talk here. Okay, so we got a lot to get into here. See all the topics below. We got a lot of different stuff that we're going to hit on here. I want to start off the show, and I think this is if there's ever an appropriate time to do this, now would be the appropriate time to do it. Let's talk a little bit about Dennis Schroeder and Montrezl Harrell. Dennis Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell for the Lakers. Last night we got kind of I would say it's probably safe to say kind of a small little glimpse of what we're hoping for to see from them come playoff time. Obviously, when the Lakers, when we do get to the postseason, going to be critical. And I say critical, obviously critical for the Lakers to have those two players deliver on a night in, night out basis. So I'm going to say that, and I'm going to kind of start off the show. It's so easy to talk about LeBron and Anthony Davis. Obviously, the key, how important those two players are. It's so incredibly, incredibly important to kind of sit back on a night in, night out basis to look at, okay, Andre Drummond, the Lakers just got in the buyout market. I know how important all those players are. Health is incredibly important. But I think we saw something from Dennis Schroeder over the last, let's say, how long have we been doing this with Dennis Schroeder now? Basically, since LeBron James and Anthony Davis both went out. I've seen Dennis Schroeder be the most important player on this Lakers team, the most consistent player on this Lakers team. I actually heard Anthony Davis saying this yesterday on the postgame show. AD was sitting back and he was talking about how basically he was trying to make trying to emphasize that for Dennis Schroeder, it's not just about him being the player he is when those two players are out, but they want him, they're encouraging him, be as aggressive as you've been. Also do it when LeBron and Anthony Davis are back in the lineup. And, of course, when LeBron comes back, he's going to have the ball in his hands a ton. But that is obviously going to be a key piece for the Lakers. And I mentioned Dennis Schroeder because I want to give this guy some love. I mean, I think he deserves some love. I had a caller call in to 710 when I was doing my radio show and was just talking about how it's with Dennis Schroeder. And a lot of the conversation with Dennis Schroeder, either we haven't talked about him this year, or we talked about him during trade deadline, or we talked about him because his contract, obviously the Lakers have not worked out some type of an extension with him yet, and we'll see what happens in the offseason. But those two guys, Dennis Schroeder and Montrezl Harrell, we cannot underestimate how important those two players are going to be come playoff time. We really can't. Like, there's no possible way that any of us can sit back here and not talk about how key those two players are. So I want to start off the show with that. Dennis Schroeder, I just hit on. Let me now go into a little bit of Montrezl Harrell. Montrez. Yesterday, we got a chance to see Montrezl Harrell play some significant minutes for the Lakers, and it wasn't like the game before where Coach gave him a DNP, right? Didn't even play that last game against Dallas. And what I think is kind of interesting to me is Montrezl Harrell, as we get closer to the season ending and we get closer to the playoffs, he has such a good March, and he's been a lot quieter in the month of April. But one thing that's got to be so much clearer as we move forward, it has to be. Like, this is not much of a conversation I think that we can have here when it comes to Montrezl Harrell. For Montrezl Harrell moving forward, can't get any more DNPs, can't get any more, 10 to 12-minute nights. I think as we close out the regular season, which there's only 11 games left, so, obviously keep that in mind. As we close out the rest of the regular season, I expect that Montrezl Harrell, he's going to be getting 25-plus minutes a night. Him and Andre Drummond are going to be splitting those roles. And Marc Gasol, unfortunately for Marc Gasol, he's going to have to kind of